In previous videos, I explained how I use automatic scrapers to scrape information about listings and find realty information, contact information such as phone numbers and emails using scrapers from a platform called Apify. In this video, I'll show you how to scrape realty information and data about listings from websites like Zillow. The key difference between the scrapers that scrape websites like Realtor and Zillow is that for Zillow we need to use two scrapers. So the first scraper is gonna search information based on the zip code or postal code, but it only scrapes partially the information that we need. And then we connect another scraper right after the first one to scrape more details about the property and contact information about realtors. So let me show you how it looks like. So this is how the automation looks like. This is a complete automation. So the first node, as I mentioned already, it scrapes data from specific zip codes or postal codes. And then the second node here extends the information that we scraped from the first node and provides more information. And then we use the same nodes like AI agents to find the emails and then combine all this information into a specific way like JSON code. And then we push this information to our CRM, which is Go High Level CRM. And by the way, in between we use UPROC service to verify emails to make sure that they all true emails, not false emails, because AI quite often make mistakes. And then we also use this another UPROC node in this automation to find even more emails, the ones that AI didn't find in previous nodes. So again, you can watch other videos about how to build these automations. Today we're going to focus on this starting nodes, and I'll explain how to build them and how to set them up. So let me show you in detail how to set this first node up. First of all, we need a Zillow scraper that I use and I tested and I trust, and it's called Zillow Zip Code Search Scraper. The way how we set this up is very similar to other actors like Realtor.ca. The only key difference is that we set up the postal codes that we need, and probably you need lots of them, so it really depends on your area that you'd like to scrape. And then you select how many days on Zillow it has to be. So in our case, because we need only fresh listings, so what we need is to set it up to 1 day. So we don't need rent, we only for sale by agent. Then what else do we need here? I think this is all by default, so we don't need to change anything here. And then we can save this information, and then we will need this JSON code, and we will also need API endpoints. So let me show you how it looks in our n8n automation. So we set a trigger, as usually we do that, so we can do it manually, but in our case, we run this automation maybe once a day or a few times a day. It really depends on your needs. So in this case, I set it up to 11 a.m. And by the way, how you set up, don't forget to set up the timing zone. So in my case, it's Edmonton, Mountain Time Zone. In your case, it could be, I don't know, East Coast, West Coast, depending on your location. So this is important so that this timing trigger matches with your settings. And then we set up this node. It's an HTTP node, so the way how you find it is just you click on this plus and then HTTP request, and this node will appear here. And then you choose method post, and then you paste the URL that you copied. So let me show you how it looks like. So you need run sync get dataset items, and then after that question mark there will be your token, Apify token, like API token. So if I go back to my API account, And we are currently inside that node that we're setting up. So we go to API endpoints, then we go to this third post request, and then run sync get dataset items. So that's the same. So we just copy it here. I'm not going to show you my token because that's what you get when you set up your Apify account. And by the way, I explained this, how to set your Apify account and how to connect it to your automation and how to create your n8n account. I explained it in my previous videos. You can watch them. So we go back here, we paste this URL here. Then we don't need authentication. We only need to send body, which is JSON body, and then we choose using JSON. And if I extend this, so in this case, I'm only scraping a few postal codes. I'm not scraping all 40 whatever. But what you need is once you set up your postal codes here, right, you just copy this code, then you go back to your n8n. It's easier if you open here and then you paste this code here. And eventually it's gonna look similar to this. So days on Zillow, 1. In my case, you can put more, 30, but in our case, we're only scraping fresh listings. And then everything is set up, so we're just gonna run this node. So after some times we got 15 items here, as you can see. And these items, we got some details, but it's not a full information. So there is some details, but we need more information, and specifically about the realtor. So that's why we have the second node here. And the way how we set this up is, it's very similar to the previous nodes. We go to this one, Zillow Detail Scraper, and we need a home detail URL, which we get from the previous node. So then we choose for sale, and I think this is it. So then we copy this code. Let me show it to you in our actually, we don't really need this property status, so we can just delete it. And let's go back to, so let's see. So we need a URL method get. So let's check the code here. So that's exactly the code that we paste here from this JSON tab. And then we need this API endpoint and this URL. So we put this URL here again. So we copy this third URL where it says get datasets items, and we paste it here. And I'll just show you that it looks exactly the same. Get dataset items. And then we're using JSON, and that's the code that we grab from this JSON tab once we configure it. Then we need this URL. So we need a detail URL, which we're gonna get from the previous node, and that's the detail URL. So if I delete this, I'm just gonna grab this detail URL and put this in between these two quotes. So the result should look like this, right? And now we run this node. So after some time, typically it takes a few minutes, depending on how many listings you're scraping. So now we have another 15 items at the end. So let me show it to you. So now we have way more information about each listing. So if I look, for example, agent name and things like that. So another agent. So we have information about the brokerage, about the agent, phone numbers, and things like that. So that's exactly what we need.